Paltrocast. Well, I'm going to say good morning. I'm assuming you're West Coast, so therefore it's still the morning by you.
Yeah, West Coast.
Well, how's your day going aside from the doing press thing and talking about yourself and that kind of a thing?
It's going good. Yeah, I just getting going today. Made some coffee and I have some plans to go film a documentary to part of a documentary I'm doing on a band today. So after this, I'm heading to that.
Wow. Well, just leading right into it right there. Everyone's kind of known you as a singer-songwriter the last 20-ish years, but now they're also known you as a director and a producer of those films as well. How exactly did you wind up in the film space, or are you secretly editing your music videos the whole time?
Um, well, I I started getting into video stuff when I was really young, just from doing skateboard videos and things. Just really young, just by myself, putting that together. And that's what led me to music, really falling in love with it, is because a lot of the songs that I first liked and bought the CDs from were in those videos. But
Hmm.
then I started making music, and then that took off, which I wasn't planning on. Um, I just love writing songs, and then I happened to make a career out of it and stuck with it. But in the last number of years, then I started taking over and doing more music videos just out of necessity, because I was interested in just creating that, and then just sort of that just took off. But I had a lot of insight into it from doing music videos and film
Hmm.
work with the Malloys. So I got to see a lot of firsthand um, creative ideas and learned a lot from Emmett and a bunch of other great photographers and filmmakers.
In terms of the directing, directing can mean a lot of things, producing can mean a lot of things. Sometimes the director is actually holding the camera, actually editing all the stuff, and sometimes the director is more, just barking the orders to the technical people. In your case, as a director, what's your approach or process?
It's all of the above. Sometimes I'm just there, kind of steering the ship, and then other times I'm behind the camera. I've had the opportunity to work with some really great DPs and cinematographers. So when that happens, you know, I, I I only do the filming stuff out of necessity. I love it, but if there's someone who's really competent and is an artist in their own right, then I say, you know, I let them do what they're good at, and then I just watch and learn too, and then have the vision for the big picture.
So this new film of yours, you also scored. When did the score happen versus the filming?
Um, well, a lot of it happens simultaneous. Sometimes I'll be writing stuff on the spot, and then many times too, then I'll write up music for it afterwards after looking at the pieces, because to me that's really inspiring. When I sit down and when you sit down to write a song, normally you're pulling from this vault of personal experience or friend experience or whatever experience you have to pull from. And when I look at moving pictures, then all of a sudden the a story starts to reveal itself, and the music starts to even comes more naturally, I think.
So one question I have about the credits of this new film is it says Peter Bauer in there. Is that the Peter Bauer from the Walkman, or are there two Peter Bauers that produce stuff?
uh no, that's definitely Peter Bauer from the Walkman. Yeah.
I'm used to seeing him as is it Peter Matthew Bauer? He puts the third name when he's doing business stuff usually.
Yeah, I think I forgot to put that in there.
Okay, got it. So what that tells me is seeing that name there, seeing Alexis's name and all that, it's a bunch of music people who have entered the film space whenever you're doing a film related project.
Yeah, totally. I mean yeah, Peter's been really just a creative friend of mine that I've learned a lot from, and has been really helpful. So and then Alexis Mahler, who does a lot of string work. She does a lot of great stuff up in Portland with a lot of really great musicians. And so any chance I get to work with her is really special and takes it up a notch too. And so her and I work together where sometimes she'll have ideas to arrangements that I have, and then other times we'll work up the pieces on the spot. So
Got it. So you mentioned at the beginning of the conversation that you're working on another documentary at the moment. So it sounds like you're properly juggling music and film work, that you're not, the filming wasn't a one and done or a two and done kind of thing. It sounds like it's going to get as much attention in your life as the music.
yeah, I would say maybe even in the last little bit, probably a little bit more. But I think all this stuff sort of it moves within each other. You know, I
Mhm.
think you can sit down and you can practice guitar and practice, you know, and try to write songs every day, which I think is a great thing, which I spent a lot of time doing that and I still do. But I think that creative ideas and artistic mediums flow within each other. So you can you can write a great song and you can have a good idea that most of it doesn't even come from music. You know, I mean, all of it, you know, really doesn't come from music. I think it's life that inspires it. So when you get behind a camera or you start to go experience life, then songs and stories unfold. And I think that's just what being behind a camera or going out and directing things like that really is. It's just a tool for experience.
Got it. So going back to the early part of your career, if Wikipedia and old bios are correct, Tom Dumont played a big role in first getting your name out there. And being a big fan of Tom from his band and all that, I also know that he played on a Scott Weiland album. He seems like he's a very under the radar person where he's friends with the artists, but doesn't quite promote that he's friends with the artists. How did you and Tom connect in the first place?
Yeah. Yeah, Tom is really low profile. Um, I well, I met him a long time ago in Costa Mesa, and we were at this we were at a friend's company, and I was just starting out. I had like a couple it was just like in a small garage warehouse, and I had a couple CDs that I'd made on a little Tascam 4-track. And one of the people there was like, "Hey, you should meet Tom. He plays music too." And then Tom was asking me, he's like, "Yeah, what are you recording on?" I was like, "Oh, I got this Tascam recorder. I got some songs." He's like, "Oh, cool. Yeah, well, I'll check it out." And so he checked it out, and then like that weekend, I saw the Super Bowl, and No Doubt was playing on the Super Bowl, and I was like, "Hey, that's that guy that I met." And my friend was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, he's in No Doubt." And I said, "Well, that's pretty crazy." And so then a couple of days later, Tom called me back and he's like, "Hey, you know, I was a little busy. I had some stuff going on, but I listened to your stuff. And do you have more songs? And you know, do you want to come record them?" And ask me some questions. And I had a couple more songs, so I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to come record them." I was really excited. And so then I went to his house and started recording about once a week. And I thought, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go once a week. I got to write a new song every week. So I have a new song. But I mean, it doesn't take one day to finish a song. So by the end of it, I had, you know, more than enough songs to work with. And then that became a record and some EPs that that he helped me produce and mentored me on the songwriting process and a lot of experience that he had had.
That is amazing that he bit his lip and did not say, "Yeah, I was busy with playing the Super Bowl." That kind of a thing. That I think that shows a lot of modesty. But I say the same about you in your career, where you've always kind of let the music do the talking. You've stayed out of headlines, etc. Is that natural to just kind of be low key and let the music do the talking?
I mean, I just like making music and I've been around. I think a lot of the people that I've been around have just been that way. I've sort of been involved in the music industry pretty heavily, but at the same time been on the like fringes of it because um you know, Tom is in No Doubt, but also you know, it wasn't, you know, it's not Gwen Stefani. And then you have like, and Jack Johnson has like, who's helped me out a lot too, also has a really big name, but he's also kind of done it on his own terms. And So a lot of the people who have supported me have really done it, kind of doing it in their own way. And so kind of in a grassroots thing. And so those are the people that I've always been around and modeled myself after, and not really needing to do anything flashy or anything like that. Just let the music do its thing and just be creative and write music and make art.
So to use a Van Halen analogy, you're basically trying Michael Anthony your way through life.
Yeah, funny thing is there's another Michael Anthony that I just worked with recently. And so I'll
What does
I'll-
the second Michael Anthony do? Is there a second Michael Anthony in music?
yeah, he's a songwriter. He's a songwriter.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a person I have to check out then.
Yeah.
So, recapping right here, you have a very recent film release. You did the accompanying EP. There was a film last year. I think I see some tour dates that are happening in August. Keeping very busy. Do you know what your 2025 looks like?
Oh man. Well, yeah, I think I'm gonna do some touring down in Australia. That's what I
Oh,
was That's kind of what I've been working on, is doing more shows down there. And been kind of that's been kind of swimming around as an idea for a little while. And so I've been trying to figure that out.
hmm. So consistency seems to be a key thing. You're not doing the co-writing thing. You're not trying to do the summer shed tour kind of thing.
Uh, I mean, I'll do those things, but I think I do like I'd rather go out and find some other I'd rather find someone with an interesting song or a story that I could co-write with out in the bush somewhere or something, That seems a little more appealing to me.
There you go. Well, three quick questions and then I let you go. The first one is, besides creating, what's the main passion or way that you spend your time?
That's a good question. Um,
I say that because you're kind of a let the art do the talking kind of person, rather than, hey, this is my tequila. Hey, check me out. This is what I'm having for breakfast. You've never really been that kind of an artist.
well, let me go grab my tequila really quick. I just it's no one really knows about it, but no, well, let me think. I do still skateboard a lot, and I find a lot of peace in that. So I go out, like, well, to a certain extent, until I start pushing myself, and then I gotta say, calm down, Matt. I can jump down 10 stair handrails, but I'm not going to.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do meditation. That stuff really helps me kind of get grounded and find some peace. Um, and I like hanging out with my girlfriend. Those are the things. Those are three things. You're supposed to say name one, but I named three.
In terms of the skateboarding, when I was a kid, the skateboarding was synonymous with more hardcore and punk. Were
Yeah.
you ever in a hardcore or punk band?
Yeah. My first band was like this hardcore band. I think we just we didn't write any songs. We just covered a bunch of songs. Like we covered the Gorilla Biscuits, and I think we covered some really hard stuff like Bloodlit, and we listened to like I don't know, Cannibal Corpse and stuff like that. And then I think there was some obviously, yeah, we're listening to Fugazi and things like that, Minor Threat, Black Flag, those things. But I also at the same time was listening to hip hop and things like that. Um, but that's one thing that did surprise me. I know that, like, because we played a couple shows, and I think it was like one or two. And when I say a couple, I mean literally. And then we're at a house party, and the cops came, and then
Yeah.
I think we just never practiced again. Uh, but when I started writing songs on acoustic guitar, the reason why I played electric guitar, and I ended up selling it to a pro skateboarder for a pair of shoes and a skateboard, because that's the only thing I had that had any value at the time when I was 17. And so I was out with the guitar for a while. And then I got an acoustic guitar when I turned 18.
Mm-hmm.
So I was learning Rolling Stones songs. I had a trumpet from the school band. I pawned that so I could buy a Rolling Stones songbook. And, um, and then I got an acoustic guitar. And then I started learning Rolling Stones songs. I had a trumpet from the school band. I pawned that so I could buy a Rolling Stones songbook. And, um, and then I got an acoustic guitar. And then I started learning Rolling Stones songs. I had a trumpet from the school band. I pawned that so I could buy a Rolling Stones songbook. And so I was learning these songs, and it's all I had, you know. So I was like, all right, I just want to write songs, and I had the time to do it. And so when a lot of my friends who were, you know, I'd go to their house, and we were all skateboarders and stuff, and we'd sit around and play songs, and that's where the title of my first record came, Songs We Sing, because we would just sit around and sing these songs. Sometimes there was like Guns and, you know, there'd be requests, you know, there'd be Guns N' Roses songs that I think I might have known a little bit of like Iron Maiden or something, just like a riff or something. But really it was just these kind of songs that I could sing, you know, and I didn't have my voice wasn't, I couldn't really belt it out or anything. So I just sang the way I sang and played the guitar. But some people liked it, you know, and so then I just stuck with it. And it's crazy for me now too, to be able to you know, to continue to write songs and have music and films and things like that. But the coolest thing to me is having music and skate videos, because to me that's like the coolest thing ever. And that's kind of why I got started. And so to have music and write music for skate videos, especially the ones that I've done recently with Zero, I mean, that's kind of like a full circle dream come true, where I never thought that would have happened, because that's why I got even turned on to Iron Maiden and stuff. Except I kind of just went a little bit of a, you know, a little bit more of a Nirvana unplugged route, but that's kind of the thing.
Before I ask my last stupid question there, when you think about skate videos and the impact that they had, you know, all the Jackass people came out of skate videos, and Vice magazine and that media outlet came basically out of skate videos, etc. You know, where would the world be without the skateboarding culture? Not so much the skateboarding, but the skateboarding culture.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it a better place, you know. I mean, that's the thing, is that I don't know where it would be. You know, that's the thing, is it takes all that stuff that just that surrounds it is just it's just life, you know. And you know, you got to figure out what to do. You're like breaking into schools to go skate, you're going out with your friends, whatever it is, and you're looking at the concrete in the street a new way. And then when you're done with that, well, you got to find a way to do some fun stuff. So I think all the other stuff just came from people just actually just really living in the moment. And I think that's what you know, that's what all that stuff is.
Well, the last question, uh, is there really a tequila? Was that a bad joke? Is there actually a tequila, and is there actually a side hustle thing? Because you know, Green Day has coffee. They actually now have multiple coffee brands. The
Huh.
singer from the Refreshments has a tequila. You never know who has a coffee, a tequila, a beer collaboration, or a side hustle in general.
I know, right? No, I don't have any of those. I'm really dropping the ball on this one. I'm gonna get off this. I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna, you know, one of my favorite ones actually was that my friend Donovan Frankrider, he has his own
Yeah.
deodorant, which which I use. So
And he also does what, 52 gigs in 50 days. So he does need it.
yeah, no, that's where I got my first deodorant of his, because I was really stinking it up.
Well, here's the key. You're doing very interesting stuff 20 or so years into your career. Really looking forward to what's to come from you, whether you're the filmmaker, the featured singer, the scoring person, whatever it is. Thank you for being you, and looking forward to what's to come.
Thanks very much for having me.
Paltrocast.